Welcome, everybody. We are back. We are doing our lives, and we are doing a live with Derek. Derek is a former WWE tag team. I don't know if he was ever a champion. I would imagine so, but probably not. He just probably got the crap beat out of him. But we're going to hear from him. We're going to hear his story, what it was like wrestling, getting his ass kicked, kicking other people's asses, and what he's up to now. So we're going to bring him up, and we're going to have a chat with him.
Well, Daryl. Speaking of kicking ass, your intro video is very ass kicking.
Thank you.
I don't know if where I can get a video guy like that, because every time back in the day when I was really trying to get somewhere, I always had the promises from video guys, but they could never get the job done.
That's the thing, right? So what got you into wrestling?
Like every kid, he has dreams, and I'm getting up there in age, so I've been doing a lot of thinking and some soul searching and some different things. And as a kid, we have dreams, and really, my first music was my first. I think I kind of I believe music was my first passion. But I tried to pick up a guitar, and at 12, and I couldn't play a chord, so I just kind of put it in the corner. And the funniest thing is, I used to kind of blame my mom, because I remember getting a book how to do the chords, but I don't remember getting a guitar. But I had blocked out a memory that I sucked at the guitar, so I put it away. But I also, when I was a youngster, I had a dream as a wrestler, and lo and behold, I followed that path. But the funniest thing is, being in wrestling, I was athletic. I wasn't always the greatest athlete, but I was always the hardest worker. So, being the hardest worker, like playing hockey growing up, I had a coach in high school that rode me so hard that to this day, I believe, in a way, he's a bit of an inspiration to me, because he put a lot of work ethic into me, and he told me to go out there and skate my butt off for 45 minutes, and all I had to do is dig in the corners, get the puck out in front of the net, and when he rode me hard, I worked hard, and that gave me work ethic. And I've had work ethic all my life, paper route, money driven, this, that. So, I've always had the work ethic in my life. Certain people, and but yeah, that's how I got into wrestling, because we all start with dreams.
So it's like you were saying, everybody dreams of getting into wrestling. I remember watching wrestling when I was young, and I remember wanting to be a wrestler. I wanted to be Batman. I wanted to fly into the ring, and back in the Hart days, right?
Yep. I got to figure out. There we go. My lighting's bad for you, so I don't want to.
So when you were wrestling, you started obviously, probably in a gym, or.
When I started wrestling, I basically went to a couple independent shows and said that because I was working out, I knew I could do it, because I was bigger than the guys doing it that I was watching. I'm like, yeah, okay, this isn't. So I ended up seeking out the Hart Brothers School of Wrestling, which is not the Hart Dungeon in Calgary. Just let's be totally clear here. Two different entities. Stu Hart had the dungeon. His son Smith, God rest his soul, he got together with another guy. His name was Joe Frockledge. He called himself Ike Shaw, and he was out of Calgary. I think he said he did wrestling, but his claim to fame, or what I heard, was he was like the merchandise guy. So they got together, a little bit of carnyism there, and they got together with Waldo Von Erich, who back in the 60s and 70s was actually a wrestler that traveled all over the world. And so they latched on to Waldo because he had the name, and I ended up seeking out that school, and that's how I got into wrestling. But the very first day I got into the school and met Joe, I was like, they're trying to take you for the ride and take you for as much money. And I know people that have got stung about $16,000 to go to a wrestling school to stay there and this and that. But in the end, I spent $3,500. And, that day they said, oh, there's another $5,000 for insurance and this. And I'm like, what? We're getting into wrestling. Why? This is something that, you can't really get insurance as a wrestler. It's pretty hard. Lloyd's and the thing is, you could get like Lloyd's of London, but they'll figure out how to not pay you.
Yeah, true. Because I mean, if I remember right, you were in a tag team champ or a tag team match with Mick Foley too. Yeah.
Yes, I was. I want to say I was in a tag team match with Mick Foley and Hornswoggle. Was it?
I think so, if I remember right.
Yeah. My neck still hurts to this day because I didn't get the double underarm DDT. It jarred me a little. But
so
no, go ahead.
Here's the biggest thing everybody says: wrestling is fake.
Well, it can be planned. They can script it and plan it out and write your match out punch for punch and what you're going to do. But the bumps you take on your back is pretty hard on your neck. It's like every bump you take is like getting hit by a car from behind at about 3 to 4 kilometers an hour. So, that's over time, that's going to screw you up.
And it takes a toll on your body.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you were in wrestling for how long?
Actually, I still do it. I just did a weekend tour in front of 1,000 people out here in Nova Scotia. But I'm on my 23rd year.
Wow.
I was in WWE from I started doing when I got there. Like everybody, we try to get in. So for about a year and a half, we tried to get jobs. After about a year and a half, we got jobs. Vince really liked what we had going. And for the first year and a half, we didn't. I guess, let me see. We were on the road for about 8 or 9 months, and then probably about 3 or 4 months of television. And, we were winning all the time. So it's not like we were brought in to do the job and be the beat up guy. It just turned out that way because I believe, not everything happens the way it's supposed to. But I know from on my soul searching and what I didn't steer my ship the way I wanted to steer it. I let other people take the reins, and and letting other people take the reins. That's not a fault. It's the fault is if it wasn't happening that way, why wasn't I helping create something different?
Well, that's the thing, because you're relying on other people.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's just like with finances and other things in my life. When I steer my ship, I win big. That's just how it goes.
Well, and it's funny you say that because I was watching an interview with The Rock, and he said when he got out of wrestling that he got into acting. They told him, you know what, you can't talk about wrestling. You can't be going back. You can't use your old name. You can't work out. He's like, well, I'm listening to these guys, right? He's like, but I wasn't happy. So finally, he decided, you know what, I'm firing these guys, I'm doing it my way. I hired a bunch of guys, do it his way, and it worked.
It's funny. I'll tell you a little story. Last year, when the war in Russia happened, all the stock market took a crash.
Yeah,
and I took a panic, and I had some funds that I was losing on, so I pulled it out. In the end, I ended up with like $8,000 back this year in taxes because of capital losses. against a capital gain. But I had lost money, and when the bank is telling you, here, we want this finance guy to help you along, and what these finance guys, to me, they always say, like, oh, don't worry, it's going to come back. Well, if you're half a finance guy steering a ship, you would get it. Like, I know you can't predict when everything's going to happen, but if your funds are up 20% and then there's a little bit of a rumble and you lose 3% that day, why not jump out while you're up 17%, and then when it goes back down to minus 10%, that's when you buy back in. And
Exactly.
and what I'm saying is, I've figured out a lot of stuff over my time, and I'm in a pretty good place.
It's good. No, it's so true though. It's just like, you got to get in there when it's low.
Yep. And even your RSPs, oh, just don't worry, it'll come back. Well, you know what? Why aren't you making me more? So when it's time, I have way more. Like over time, just say if you had $300,000 in, and you made 4% on that over its time when you had to cash out, right now I can go into a guaranteed investment and make $40,000 in 2.5 years. So why would and I can keep that registered. Why would I not go for that 4.7 or 4.7 to 5% in 2.5 years? It's a guarantee.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to do something like that.
So
that's just going back to steering your ship and knowing what's good for you.
Well, exactly. I mean, sometimes, you rely on other people. And I remember when I got into the modeling industry, it was the same thing, right? People guide you. And then later on, when I was actually scouting for models, it was like totally different. It's like, Kate, why were they telling you this when it should have been this way? So you figure things out. And then I was to the point telling people, you don't need to do that. This is what you need to do.
Yep.
Like, enough of the BS.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, even with my music, everybody's always, oh, you should learn this, you should do this, do that. Well, if I just do it at my pace and write my own music, it'll come one day, and then there'll be an album.
Yeah.
I don't have to do what other people tell me to do ever.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good thing.
So, being that you were a wrestler, did you do your own music?
Just in 2013, wasn't in the greatest place. I met a guy, and he said, "Oh, you should pick up a guitar." And I said, "My hands are too big." And I went to the pawn shop. I picked one up. I played it, maybe 20 hours for 5 or 6, 7, maybe 8 years, 20 hours a year. And then I had some ideas of music, but I never really got. But I've been plugging away, and I've been playing a lot more. I probably have about 30 songs written that are in my vault. And one day, when the timing's right, I'm working on a project right now. And when this project's done, and the money from that the payoff from the project is in the bank, I'm going to probably get an album done, or do singles and get it on Spotify and just relax for a few years and concentrate on music.
So what are you doing mainly now? Are you just coaching wrestling, or are you writing music, or you singing?
So my life, as it stands right now, I do the odd wrestling show. I don't have to. I had a guy ask me to work tomorrow night in downtown Halifax, and I turned it down because I don't need to work. I have a house I'm working on that I'm in a good enough spot where I didn't have to borrow any money, that when the project's done, it's going to have a really good payout. And basically, on rain days, I sit around and play my guitar and maybe write some new stuff or practice all the stuff I have. And then on the nice days when I'm feeling like to go, I I put a lot of work into this a 1915 house. Like right now, I'm on the very last window of the main part of the house. There's still an addition part to do, but I'm on the very last window on the outside where I'm finishing the outside trim. But I do everything myself. I haven't had anyone help me do the house, and I've been doing it for a year and a half, and I just chill out and I wrestle once in a while, make a few bucks there, and just live life.
Well, what I remember about the Maritimes, because that's where my mom was from, and we used to go there like every year, like whether it was Christmas or spring break. I remember fall there. The colors are just so beautiful.
Yep, very.
Oh,
winter's hit and miss here. The very first year I lived here, from January, the very first week of January to the first week of March, or maybe the third week or third week of March, there was a snowstorm every Friday like clockwork. And then this year we had 2 snowstorms, and I worked out and did at my house. I did landscaping for all of February, pretty much.
I remember a snow one Christmas and opening the back door, and the snow was like halfway, or I can't remember. I was a kid, like I think it was 10 or something like that. But I remember the snow was over my. I was like, holy.
Well, the funny thing is, where I live on the South Shore, you could get like 4 feet, and it'll be gone in 2 days. It'll melt that fast because of the sea salt and the nice weather that follows it. But it's hit and miss out here. The funny thing is, I think our whole world's a little screwed up now. They should almost start spring on April 21st, not March 21st.
Yeah.
Because like right now we're on May what? 11? I can't even remember the date. But we only have 3 degrees sometimes at night. So that's pretty cold still.
Wow. Now with your house like that, I remember my nanny's house. Her house, I don't know what year it was. I remember it had no ceiling. It was just open. You could see all the ductwork. I remember she had a bathroom put in, and it was under the stairs, which was in the kitchen. So I remember she had a curtain. So I remember my dad's legs sticking out.
There's some real small houses out here, but the house I'm in, it's 1,500 square feet, but that's kind of big for out here.
So whereabouts?
I live in Chester Basin.
Okay.
It's 45 minutes from downtown Halifax.
Okay. My aunt used to live in Halifax, but my mom grew up in Annagants and Fredericton.
Okay.
So.
It's cold up in Fredericton.
Yes. I've got a question here. Who is your favorite person to wrestle?
My favorite person to wrestle. Oh, my favorite person to wrestle. Now, are you talking singles or like as a tag team?
Well, did you ever do singles, or were you just a tag team?
So I did in WWE. I did mostly tag team, and then near the end, I did some singles matches. But I would say one of my favorite people to work in WWE was R-Truth, or Ron Killings.
Oh, R-Truth.
He at a time where they didn't really want me to get much in, he gave me a little more than he should have, and that was one of my problems in WWE. Is we came in, we were a little bit funny, and Vince really had liking for us, but we didn't know how to play the politics that well. And when I was a happy-go-lucky guy, and I was just kind of happy to be there. And and really my dream, it's funny when I think about it, really my dream was just to prove everybody I could do it and be on WWE television once.
Yeah.
You know, way back then, but it became here we are 23 years later, I still get in the ring.
So you had said that like I remember you saying R-Truth, what's his name? Why am I drawing a blank now? Cactus Jack.
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, yes. With all those fights and stuff like that, did you do any pay-per-views or any like SummerSlams or?
I did. I'm trying to, for the life of me, I can't remember the September pay-per-view. I think it's called. I'm drawing a blank on it. But we did Cyber. It was either Cyber Sunday or Cyber Tuesday. We did New Year's Revolution. We did Unforgiven. That was it. Yeah, we did Unforgiven against the Spirit Squad. Cyber Sunday was a 4-way match. Crime Time. Cade, I want to say Cade and Murdoch, Viscera and Charlie Haas, and then in New Year's Revolution, for the life of me, I can't even remember. It's funny because some people have every match written down.
Yeah.
To me, I do it, so that's what counts. I don't remember everything. I don't take pictures of what I do. I just know that I did it, and that's all that I really care. I don't need to show everybody I did it.
So, do you ever practice with the other person beforehand?
If I've never worked the guy, you might get in the ring and kind of lock up with him and feel him out. But to give you an example, I worked last Friday down in Barrington Passage in front of 500 people. That's way down at the bottom of Nova Scotia. I worked this guy, Sidney Steele. He's from the Lethbridge area, and I'd never worked him before. He looked like a good, solid guy. And basically, I asked him, I said, "Hey, can you just lock up with me for a second?" And as soon as I locked up with him, I was like, "Oh, you're going to be real easy." He said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, this is kids. This is good when you're in front of kids. It's good guy versus bad guy. The kids get it. The kids go crazy for it. And when they're cheering for me, it's time for him to cut me off. We figure out a little something, and he works a body part, and I get my little comebacks. But a lot of that, it's on improvise. When he's, I pick out the big spot where I bump him around a couple times, and I'm going to go clothesline him over the top rope. He falls to his back and pulls the top rope down. I go over the top rope to the floor. Everybody goes, "Oh!" And then he comes out and he starts ramming my back into the ring, a couple times, and throws me in. And then, just very easy to manipulate, and the psychology of good guy versus bad guy. And then, he throws me in, he gets the crowd to boo him. He comes in as soon as he goes to pick me up to do something, I give him a couple shots, push him away. He comes back, cuts me off, does something, because just that's how it is. And if you know what you're doing in wrestling, and you're not playing for a TV audience, and you have to go out and plan a bunch of bull crap, and you know how to work a crowd, you can manipulate that crowd without planning a bunch of stuff. It's about good old school psychology, and man, you can have a lot of fun in front of those people. And then all of a sudden, $500 or $600 later in your pocket, because they liked you so much, you sold a lot of merchandise, and then you still get paid for the night.
So your merchandise is probably one of your biggest money makers.
Yeah, that's why, like, I didn't do it a lot over the last bunch of years, but last year I did about 80 matches, and it made sense to do it just because, like I say, I don't really have to do it, but I needed a break from my house, and I was like, I like going out and talking to the people and having it, but my body's getting a little sore. I'm 50 now, and working on a house, doing a lot of stuff, your grip strength gets a little sore, and
Yeah.
that's hard to take bumps because you got to slap the mat, and that's why I'd like to actually take a few years off and just write music. But I imagine if I start recording my music and writing more, and not working on a house, I'll get back in shape where I can do more wrestling. Because
so I remember hearing
to work.
I remember hearing rumors and stuff about wrestlers, and they used to use like little cut or little blades, so you get the blood flow and stuff like that.
Yep.
Back in the day, they probably still do it now and then if the other person agrees to it or whatever.
Yeah, some guys still do it. I've never ever used a blade. I have no reason to. I don't even like to bleed. I've bled a few times, but being a character and getting the crowd to like you, why, if I was invested in something that was going to draw money, and it makes sense that I'm working with a guy a bunch of times, and it's time for him to hit me with the chair and cut me open, it might make sense.
You ever get hit by a chair?
I've never been hit by a chair.
I'm just wondering how that feels.
You could ask someone that's been hit by a chair. Okay, I take it back. I've been hit by a chair in the back, but it doesn't hurt that much. But I'm not taking a chair on the head or anything.
No, oh, yeah. No, that'd be brutal.
Yeah.
Who's one person that you wish you would have, had that chance to wrestle with?
I really wish I would have. I really wish I would have got to wrestle someone like Macho Man.
That would have been cool.
Like, I'm an old school 80s guy, 80s,
Yep.
early 90s guy, and those guys were the coolest. The characters is where it was at. And today there's really no characters. It's just a bunch, and there's a lot of small guys that don't even look like wrestlers, and it doesn't make me that interested anymore. But that's why I love doing it at the independent level, because you get to be the character, you get to sell your merchandise, you get to have fun.
So, being that you like that kind of wrestling, I mean, Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, I mean, those guys were in that time.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that's what I remember as a kid watching. Like, that Saturday night, was it Saturday night or was it Sunday? I think it was Saturday night. I'd spend that 3 hours watching WCW, WWE, or F back then, and I think it was Glow. It was just, that was the 90s for us.
Yeah, well, I started. I didn't. There was a time where I didn't watch a lot of wrestling, and then all of a sudden when I started watching, that's when I got hooked again. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and that's when it was. I want to say the Attitude Era kind of hooked me back, because they were doing some crazy stuff, and I watched an ECW pay-per-view and did a hardcore match with out in my barn with a buddy, and that's when I got into wrestling. I'd never do hardcore again. Well, I've done a few hardcores, but
well, it's fun because I remember, like, I was in gymnastics for years, and there was a couple of us that we would just be throwing each other around, because we knew how to land. We knew how to act it out. And one of those guys, he's gone on to stunt work and he's been in tons of movies. But it's just kind of neat to, when you know your craft, you know how to do it as safe as possible.
Well, it's funny because I knew when I was a kid too that I might not have been like a good sports athlete, but I was good at like doing gymnastics and stuff more individualized, and like even like running when you're a teenager, running from the cops, and be able to do that deal on the fence where you balance your belly on the top of the fence to do the flip over and keep running. But I also remember when we were kids, I can't really remember how old we were, but we would be at the side of the road and we would have like 4 guys pretend to beat me up beside the graveyard, and I'd literally be able to fall over the railing into the graveyard, because there was a railing beside the graveyard, and you actually had to fall into the graveyard because there was a bit of a thing down, and you get people to stop and get out of the car and are you all right? And you get up and laugh at them and run away, stuff like that. And I used to be able to get beat up real well, like just fake it and beat people up. And I knew I could, I'm pretty sure I could do some stunt and a lot of acting. I would like to act, but I don't want to. At this point in life, my brother's always like, "Oh, you should do this or do that." I'm not gonna put my time into something that that a lot of people are trying to do for those gigs. It would be great. I believe I would be a good actor, but I'm not going to put the time in to try and do that when I can put the time in my guitar, and I believe at some point I will make money off it that way, and I will find other avenues other than wrestling to seek a little fame, or just my avenue to create the life I want, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's taken a long time. I mean, for your brother, being in the music industry for so long, DJ and stuff, and now, I can't remember when it was he went to LA. But it's taking him a while to get where he's at still.
Yeah, and it is a lot. It is a lot of work, and the thing is, like, if I really wanted to do it, I would do what he's doing. But I have other avenues that I'm making money that still are creating a good life for me, that make me happy. So I don't think for me, I don't want to go chase acting because it is a lot of time consuming and it's very competitive. And it's great because you'll make money in doing it, but I'm doing other things, and if acting was to, like, if someone would say, "Hey, you have it, I want you for this," I'm in.
So would you ever consider doing a comeback on WWE then?
If it was there, I would. I don't think I would get the chance, really, but I still would like to this day. Once I'm done this project, if I was in good shape, like I say, my arms are really sore right now. If I could get myself in shape, I would like to do a program with Jeff Jarrett. And the reason I'd like to do a program with Jeff Jarrett is we had an incident. I was fired from WWE. Everybody thinks because I got shown on TNA television on WrestleMania weekend, that's why I was fired. That was the straw that broke the camel's back to get us fired. But you had mentioned working Mick Foley. Working Mick Foley involved working a midget. Worked the midget with Fit Finley. Did a lot of other jobs before that TNA incident where Jeff Jarrett showed me on television and the whole world knew, and they still talk about it 15 years later. But the whole thing, we were, I believe 100%, we were already on our way out of WWE. But my partner was injured. This is just my speculation, you know, but I believe that, you know, when you're jobbing on television and to midgets and getting beat up real fast before the TNA incident, you can pretty much see the writing on the wall that, you know, they're using you up and it's time to go sometime.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I've done a podcast with Jeff Jarrett. We have no ill will towards each other. Business is business. I'm in a much better place, and I got no time to dwell on pasts. Dwelling on past and thinking about anything that's ever happened before. I've learned a lot of life lessons from them, and I'm in a way better spot right now to even worry about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I believe working a program with Jeff Jarrett where I get to finish him off with a guitar would be something special.
That'd be fun.
I believe so.
That'd be a perfect lead into like an album or
that being in Nashville, doing something with him. I have a lot of creative things in my head about how to introduce my music. And how to probably get all the wrestling fans to get on board. And it won't have to be because I won't be using the name Robbie McCallister, but I believe that my wrestling fans will jump on board. I will get that, and that will help. And there's other avenues too. That's you know, if I can get in front of the right people, you know, if they believe in you. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. Maybe I could be producing my music at WWE Studios. You never know. I talk about stuff, and usually, you know, when I talk about stuff, it ends up happening.
That's cool.
And you know, the power of your words is quite true. When I'm doing stuff around the house, I call myself a dumbass a lot, and I got to stop doing that because you'll start your subconscious will start to believe it. So now every time I do something dumb, I just say, "Oh, I love you."
That works. So you were talking about your partner, your tag team partner, who was your cousin, was the storyline, if I remember right.
Yes.
But most of the time, these things like, you know, Undertaker and Kane were brothers, but reality, they're not. It's all part of the story.
Even though they tell you it's not real, people still believe it.
Oh, I remember, you know, I don't know if you ever saw that Friends episode with Joey and Brooke Shields where he was a doctor and he had died or something had happened. And she's like, "Oh, I just saw you get injured." I was on set with Richard Dean Anderson doing MacGyver, and I was talking to him, and this guy comes up and it's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? You just got hurt really bad." He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he just kept on talking to him. And I'm a kid at this time, right? And I asked him after, I'm like, "What was that all about?" He's like, people get so into the characters, they believe they are real.
You know,
wow.
it's funny because, you know, becoming Robbie McCallister put me in a whole different world. And, you know, it's, if it can carry you away, and you can start to become unhumble. I don't know if that's a word, but you go from modest to cocky.
Stuck up, cocky, yeah.
Yeah, and I've struggled in my life in different times where I'm not really Derek, and but I've ended up getting through. I'm in a really really good spot right now in life, and because I've learned so much good lessons from all that stuff, and but I just I lost my train of thought now. Oh my Lord, I'm sorry, Daryl.
Oh, it's all good. You get carried away with, sometimes believing you are somebody that sometimes you're not.
That's right. We're back to it now. Sorry,
Yeah, no,
I
I remember. Like when I
struggled.
started modeling, I thought I was all, my shit didn't stink type of thing. And it was my cousin that said to me, "Look, Daryl, you're still who you are. You're just doing something that's fun."
Not
And it was
not
at that point, okay.
what happened in WWE, and everything the way it turned out, it's all meant to be because there's more to life than I believe that I've had a 23-year wrestling career, and I did what I set out to do. I made it to WWE. I got an action figure, but
Oh, did you?
I got my own action figures. Yep.
Oh,
and
cool.
and I know, like, I've got lost in that guy, but now I'm in that place where I know the difference, and I know that, like, even today, I have a hard time. I'm in such a headspace that I have a hard time posting stuff on social media because, there's other people on my social media that don't have what I have, and then it's almost like,
Yeah.
if I'm showing this and that, Jimmy down here, all of a sudden, I feel bad because it almost makes, he can't afford it, or he can't do this, or he can't do that. But in life, I try to stay positive and always, like, be positive towards everybody. And, if you really want it, you can have it.
That's
You got to
true.
work. You got to work for it, but
It's not going to just fall in your lap. It takes work.
Yes. And everybody says, "Oh, poor me," or "This guy's lucky." No, but at the same time, even though those people are out there, I don't even. To me, I don't even want to ruffle their feathers because I have more. Because then it's less toxicity in the world.
Yeah, but the one thing that really, when we went to Toronto for an award, and I went with my son, and we were same time that TIFF awards were, and you had all these actors. There's my son. And we were doing all this kind of stuff. Sometimes the TIFF awards, and there's actresses and actors in the elevators with us and everything. Big deal, whatever. To me, I don't really care. There's no people, right?
Yeah,
And
I like that thinking.
well, it's true. Like, I don't really care. Like, I got another couple friends that they're actors, and I'll sit and talk to them like normal people, and they're like, we really appreciate that. I'm like, why? That's who you are.
They wipe their bum the same as us.
Exactly. Whether it's left cheek or right cheek, it's still the same.
Yeah.
But we went to get in the elevator, and literally we had, and I wasn't really paying attention, but we had a hand push us back. And then I look up and I'm going, what the hell? And it was Jennifer Lopez's security. And I'm just like, really? And that was the point. I'm just like, okay, there's some people, they're very high on themselves. Like, I couldn't care less if you're J-Lo, you're Michael Jackson, whoever you are. And it's like, I wasn't even paying attention, but to get pushed out of an elevator, I'm just like, wow.
Yep. No, it's funny because I've talked to my brother on a few occasions. He's like, he'll say, like, this actor's name or that. I'm like, who? I don't know. Like, to me, we are all people. So we're all, whether you're the Rock or you're the guy fishing in the Gold River down by my house, we're all the same. But we all do different things.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Our job.
to me, I don't get starstruck. Yeah, the whole goal in life is to be happy and smile all the time. That's really what life's supposed to be about. You're not supposed to do it for anybody else. You're supposed to do it for you and you being happy.
Exactly. And, you know, it was funny because when Chris and I used to hang out in Vancouver when he was, you know, doing Zed and all that, but they used to have these single nights. And I would go down there and Chris and I would just have a heyday. Just being goofy and stupid.
Single, are you talking why can't I remember the place where you used to wear a name tag?
Yes, Fred's Uptown Tavern.
What was it called? You could meet a girl by going and giving her a message on the board.
Yes. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
I remember.
It was so much fun though.
Oh yeah.
Back in the good old days, right?
Yep. Oh, today's are good old days too.
Oh yeah. So now you're focusing more on music. So are you going to put it together an album?
I will, or I'll just do other. I'll just put them out one at a time. Also, besides music, I also like to decorate.
Okay.
I like this house I'm doing. I'm basically I'm the decorator of the place, and I actually had the real estate lady here yesterday, and she was floored because when we started, when I bought the house, she didn't know exactly what I was going to do to it. It was a real nasty place from
Is this
1950. What's that?
Is it like a flip or is it like a forever type of home?
No, this is a flip. I don't. It's an investment for me because I know what I'm good at, and this is an easy, like, you know, you can put your money in the bank and make X amount, but I know on this project I can make a couple $100,000 or more on this project because I'll do everything myself. And when she came here yesterday, when we first started, she said about 200,000 less than where we were yesterday.
Huh.
So she just thought I was going to come in and put some lipstick on an old house, but you know, it's going to have 20 brand new windows, 2 brand new doors, all the original floor upstairs restored. It's the landscaping and the property will be a luxurious curbside finish that will floor people away, and to me it's easy, and I like doing that type. I like making shit look nice.
That's good. It's a lot of fun though.
Absolutely. There's days I hate it. Like I'm in the middle of in the middle of doing the very last window. But to give you an example, this house, I'm a money saver, and I put in the 10 new windows. They're inserts, and they had storm windows on the front, and I had the storm windows had been painted over. They had a coating on them, and I had to stand on a ladder 20 feet in the air and basically grind every head of the screw off on the storm windows to not wreck the steel trim covering, so I don't have to spend another $2,500 to replace all the steel trim around the windows.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like that's I'm very frugal. Everything I've took out of this house I've reused in it.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
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 So that's your project right now, is the renovation, then into the music, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, uh, I basically bought this so I could concentrate on my music, but at the same time, I know, you know, music will make me money, but I know this project will make me a lot of money fast and give me the time to do what I want to do. You know.
So here's a question for you. I'll put you on the spot. You want to sing a little something?
I'll sing my own song.
There you go.
All right, give me a second. Here,
Sure.
give me a second. All right, it was in tune earlier, so hopefully. All right. Back in '99, I worked the assembly line. The pay was damn good, but no world of mine. I had big dreams, I always wanted more. And I'm thankful. Oh, I screwed it up. Just because I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. That's cool.
Yeah.
See, it's kind of a bluesy, grassy kind of sound.
Yeah, I go all over the place. So, but I have my what's this one? My first career, it wasn't no big thing. It was driving down the road, working in a wrestling ring. Brought me around the world, and it gave me fame. And one thing happened. No one knew my name. Whoa, did it go on to the next show? Baby, don't try now. You ain't ever gonna know. Dreams come alive, yeah, when you learn to live.
That's cool.
So
That's really got a talent there.
it's just a lot of my music's road stories, like or something like a tough time in life. Like I was a salesman for my ex-family-in-law, which actually brought me a lot of good and put me in where I am now. But there's a lot of drinking involved because it was like wrestling without taking bumps, and you're entertaining customers. But like this song would be. So it goes south of the cities, north of Des Moines, east of Mason City by the Iowa line. I'm sitting drunk thinking I'm fine, but I know that I don't. I screwed up. I can't read. I haven't played that in front of anybody, or it's something I'm working on, but I got all the words.
So when's the album coming out?
I'll
be there.
I really don't know, but my eye on the pro. So my whole goal was when I quit my sales job, sold my house, and became self-sufficient again. My whole idea was to get this house done in a year, but after working on it for a while, all of a sudden 80 wrestling matches came around, and I kind of put it on hold. And then after 80 wrestling matches, I started getting sore, but then I started working on the project again, still wrestling. And now I got to keep my eye on the prize. I want to get this project done so I can actually sit down and get this music out, because I 100% believe people will buy it and I will travel with it. And it's going to be a different route for me. I'm not going to be, I really don't believe I'm going to be, playing in bars on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays to do it. I'm going to be able to get with the right people and use the right connections to get into spots where this might be able to take off, just because of where I've been. And you dream big and you can do it as long as you put the work in.
Yes.
No, you were just saying there. Your 80 shows, are those all local, like across Canada or New York?
Last year I did some in the States, did some in Newfoundland, and then mostly a lot out in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick.
Okay, interesting. So you also were saying that you trained with one of the Harts, right?
I trained with Smith Hart, God rest his soul. He was the oldest brother. He died a few years back. He was a strange fellow, though.
Now, he wasn't part of the whole Hart.
Never in the big stage of things. He was never.
Okay. Because I mean, the Harts, they were big for Canada.
Oh, absolutely. Bret's got his own show. Bret's actually started up his own thing with his son, and they're doing Stampede Wrestling at the Pavilion in Calgary again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I met Bret a few years ago in Abbotsford at the Agri Fair.
Okay.
That was actually quite a number of years ago now. Wow. Yeah, that was like 23 years ago. Okay.
That's as long as I've been wrestling.
Wow. Question here. Do you like Hulk Hogan?
I do.
He's an interesting fellow.
He's interesting. He's an eccentric.
He's got his little posse that he travels with. It's like, okay. And then I remember when I met him, he was pushing his daughter for music.
Yep. My brother did a commercial with him.
Did he?
How cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting person. And then I know his daughter, I don't know if she's still in it or not. She tried getting into wrestling because her singing career was terrible.
Yeah, I don't think the wrestling worked either.
Yeah. And it was probably crashed like her singing. Oh. Yeah. Poor girl. But anyway. So what do you have coming up then?
Let's see. May 20th, I'm in Windsor, Nova Scotia, doing a local show. 24th and 25th, no, 26th and 27th. I'll be in St. John, New Brunswick, and then Halifax. Let's see, what else do I have after that? I have 4 or 5 in June, and then I'm doing a tour in Newfoundland in July, and then there's a bunch of local stuff around here. And you know what? It's great wrestling around here because it's kids and it's fun, and it's good guy versus bad guy, and you sell a lot of merchandise.
Do you still go under the same name when you're wrestling?
Yeah, I just use Robbie McCallister. Former
Good.
WWE or WWE.
Stop, please. Yeah, because generally WWE owns their trademark names or whatever, right?
They own the Highlanders, and in our contracts we own Rory and Robbie.
Yeah, because I know sometimes with names and stuff like that too, it's
Yeah, they're pretty bad that way.
Yeah. It should be interesting to see. I don't know how much it's going to change or not, but with the buyout of WWE.
Yeah, I haven't really followed anything. I've just been into my own stuff, like playing a lot of music.
Well, I mean, UFC owns a controlling, the company that owns UFC. Can't remember the name right now. They own the controlling share now for WWE. So
yeah, that's big.
it is. But I mean, it opens it up to more audiences, I guess. I don't know.
It's hard to say. It could end up putting wrestling in the toilet again.
It could. I could.
Wrestling's pretty hot right now. There's a lot of wrestling out there right now. So
WWE, there's no really good people anymore.
No, well, like AEW is doing, like they're all. I don't really watch WWE anymore because there's no characters, but they gotta. I don't know. It doesn't grab me if I watch it at all.
The only one I like is Rey Mysterio, and he's back. Edge is back.
I'd enjoy an Edge match, but I don't know about picking a. I just don't know about some of their things. Like I don't want to trash talk or anything, but to me it doesn't excite me.
Did you ever get to fight Edge?
No.
Being Canadian and all?
No.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that would probably be a fun match. A battle of the hairs.
Well, didn't he cut his off again?
Probably. Yeah, I think he did actually. So I should probably wrap this up. What's something you want to let people know?
You can check my Instagram at Highlander Robbie. I don't have any Facebook room because I haven't got the follow thing yet. You can check Derek Robbie McCallister Coach. And basically look out in the next little while. I'll have some music going. There's some people that actually want to work with me and get in the studio. I know my brother always says, hey, if I'm a guitarist, but the thing is, if I do my own thing, I'm the boss. That's how it goes. And if I'm going to be doing something, it's all or nothing. I'm not going to be. I can't have people that are doing other things. You know what I mean? That have other ambitions and goals that are it's just how it is.
No, exactly.
I have some people in my life that, I consider them friends, but when it comes to like music and other things, they never ever give me any support whatsoever. So I just keep doing my own thing.
Well, when you get your album out, we'll do another live. We'll get it out there and get in front of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, you know what? It's been great chatting with you.
Well, thanks for having me on, Daryl.
I love dealing with people that are down to earth, that have a good sense of humor, and you know what? It becomes a blast. It really does.
Well, I appreciate the time on here. Thank you.
No problem. We'll talk again.
All right. Take care.
Bye. I love talking to people that just got so much energy and so much, they are real. And I've always said, we like to keep it real. And keeping it real out there is like Caden's floating head right here. It's what makes things, lack of a better word, real. When you're fake, it comes through. It shows. And that's what I enjoy about this whole journey is the real realness of everything. Anyway, we want to thank you all for joining us. I'm going to leave all the links below when we send this out live for Robbie, where you can visit him. You can see his Instagram, his Facebook, and we're going to get him back up here when he gets his album out. And we're going to have a lot more fun. So thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.